So Games Workshop just dropped some massive miniature teasers today, apparently soon to be unveiled in the first big preview session of the year in 2025. Lucius the Eternal himself is reborn for the Emperor's Children, likely heralding a whole bunch more miniatures on the way for them, and also from the wilds of the internet we've also got a much better look at the new Death Guard miniature fully assembled, so let's take a look at all the stuff. Hello and welcome back to Warspecs Tactics, where today we're talking about Games Workshop's new miniature teasers, the new Death Guard model leak once more, and the news about their preview shows that they've just announced. First up was the official announcement of something that we knew was coming already pretty much. Games Workshop tends to tie in their big preview shows online, with some fun live reveal shows happening at some of the biggest Warhammer events around the world, and they do usually do one for the Las Vegas Open each year, one of the single biggest and most prestigious Warhammer 40k tournaments around amongst all the other events that happen there. In a recent video I did mention that it seemed pretty likely that the next preview will be coming on the 16th of January, given that in the tournament's own timetable it looked like there was some time set aside for Games Workshop then. And now Games Workshop have come out and fully announced that that will be happening, so basically 10 days away pretty much. The preview online will be going live at 9 PM Pacific time on the Thursday the 16th, which translates to the all very unsociable 5 AM in the UK or 6 AM in France and Germany. Well, that'd be midnight US Eastern time. It looks like the live show goes live at 8 PM, so it's basically 1 hour after that happens. I think they often tend to do the reveals live and then go to the online preview just very, very slightly after. They'll be streaming it on their Twitch channel and the Warhammer community site too, and I guess possibly their YouTube channel as well. It seems that the primary thing that was mentioned was their Twitch channel. I had noticed that they'd promoted YouTube as the primary place that they were streaming before. In any case, as per usual, they've given us a range of different game systems that there's going to be previews for. This time around it is going to be Warhammer 40k, plus Age of Sigmar, the Old World, Necromunda, and also Black Library. According to their article and video announcements, there's not going to be anything for Kill Team or Horus Heresy this time, which is kind of a shame, given that they can often have some peripheral interest to 40k collectors. Though it is perhaps a little bit weird, as the silhouette teasers of the miniatures seem to kind of disagree with that, and there is a Heresy miniature mixed in with there. So it feels like they maybe got something wrong either with the names of the announcement things, or teasing a miniature that's going to come at a slightly different time, maybe even sooner. In any case though, let's jump into the model teasers and reveals. I thought we'd start out with a follow-up to the Death Guard leak. Over the weekend it seemed that someone had been sent some sprues for a Death Guard character in an Age of Sigmar Sorcerer box set. When they first posted pictures of the sprues to the internet, they hadn't got around to assembling the miniature yet, though just about every single comment seems to be begging them to do so. And now it looks like the leak has had chance to assemble the miniature and post some pictures. I've been seeing the pictures going around various different Facebook groups, Reddits and Discords and things. I'm not 100% sure initially where they all came from, but I've seen pictures of both the front and the back of the model. And it does seem pretty much, as the sprues suggested, some sort of Plague Champion or Death Guard Lord, with an enormous great big plague weapon slung on their back, and some sort of great big bloated backpack chimney thing that does appear to be pumping out all of Nurgle's toxins and things into the surrounding area. He's got a big tattered cape around him, he's also armed with a plasma pistol, and appears to have a sort of gas masky sort of helm thing. When I first saw the sprue, I was guessing it was maybe some sort of champion model. I guess it's also possible that it could be a lord on foot of some sort, given that the Death Guard don't actually have one to fill out that category yet. To me, he doesn't really look super ornate or anything, so I'd guess that he's probably more on the level of the featured Virion style characters. Though he definitely could be a lord with that cape, I suppose. I saw a couple of people mention that he could be a Lord of Poxes that was teased in the lore a couple of times. Another Lord variant to go along with the Lord of Virulence and Lord of Contagion. I guess Games Workshop might well get around to showing him off in his own article at some point. They often tend to do that at least fairly promptly when miniatures have been revealed. Just as a quick aside, I was slightly pleased with just how close I managed to get the miniature assembly that are made from the sprue pictures, plus borrowing a couple of other Plague Marine bits from other kits. I guess quite a lot of the bits of the miniature were laid out in a place where you could put them overlaid on each other, which was sort of fortunate for the sprue. But that's the first time I've tried to do a sort of digital model assembly before. Before we move on to look at new Lucius the Eternal and the other teased miniatures, I'll just give a quick shout out to the video sponsor in Warhaus, a new gaming store opening up in Brisbane, Australia. Planning to stock a whole bunch of the Games Workshop range, and looking to get the word out that they exist, planning to sell Warhammer at a big 23% off Games Workshop prices, which is unusually generous, and shipping across Australia for $10 and free over $150. Their website's linked down in the video description below. They'll have the vast majority of the Warhammer 40k range to backorder, which you can contact them to ask them to order it in if you want something at that big discount. And their store's going to be based at 599 Oxley Road in Corinda outside Brisbane. It's currently being assembled right now, the big opening not so very long away. As well as the web store going live, they've also got a promotion to boost awareness of them via their Instagram. I'll leave a link to that giveaway post in the video description as well, with a chance to win a Deathcore of Krieg box set that's coming out this week. To enter, all you have to do is like that post and follow their Instagram, and there's some bonus entries for sharing it in different ways if you'd like to. Entries are closing on the 15th of January for that one. In any case, feel free to check them out, linked down in the video description, and thanks to them for sponsoring this one. Onto the model teasers for the Las Vegas Open though, and first up we have Lucius the Eternal. I feel like quite often when they do these silhouette teaser type things, it's really not too hard to work out what the miniature is, and this guy is pretty distinctive. Probably doesn't hurt to confirm as well that it's got a nice Emperor's Children sort of purplish pink background, but even if not, I think we could work it out between the great big whip and the dueling sword and just the general style of the mini. Lucius was definitely one of the miniatures that we pretty much absolutely knew was coming back for the Emperor's Children. The three things that felt absolutely guaranteed were Lucius, Noise Marines, and Fulgrim if they did a release for that faction. And it seems that we're probably going to be seeing Lucius the Eternal at the Las Vegas Open preview, so I guess that means more Emperor's Children. We can see his weapons here. He's armed with the Lash of Torment and the Blade of the Lair, and he is one of the classic miniatures that I think aged kind of poorly compared with the rest, definitely was worthy of an update. It looks like in his new pose he's got his lash whip sort of coiling around him, and his sword held out maybe a little bit more dramatically in a sort of gesturing or dueling type pose perhaps. He does enjoy trying to have a go at killing the Emperor's champions, and no big deal if he loses, as it generally works out badly for them anyway. It looks like he's also got some sort of pipe things reinterpreted on his back. I'm not entirely sure exactly what they are. I don't know if it's going to be bringing the noise in the same sort of way as Noise Marines will be. And he's on quite a big built-up scenic base as well. You can tell that he's a fair way off the ground there. In any case, looks like a pretty fun and dramatically posed miniature. It'll be really good to see that in full detail and painted up when they do the reveals. I think we can basically infer from that though that if Lucius is coming, he won't be on his own. I'd guess that this reveal show will probably be the big Emperor's Children reveal, where we actually see the majority of their range, in a similar sort of style to how we saw the Deathcore of Krieg and the Eldari ranges in the big preview before Christmas. I'd guess that with the new armies they tend to release in 10th edition, they usually like to do a launch box with it, where you get a bunch of the new kits plus the codex, and you have a limited edition kind of discount box set for people jumping into the faction. It's just one big central sale that they can make to people, though I guess for the Emperor's Children there'll be the big draw of Fulgrim himself as well. If it happens, I'm going to guess that Lucius and the Noise Marines will be in there, Fulgrim wouldn't. Though I guess it's maybe not 100% guaranteed that they might have one. The World Eaters didn't when they had their release, and they just came out all as individual kits and then had their Combat Patrol drop a fair bit later. I think there was some suspicion that Games Workshop didn't want the Combat Patrol sales undermining the individual kit sales when they dropped. It seems that the biggest questions that the reveals might answer is what else they'll be getting. Lucius and the Noise Marines were already guaranteed. We've seen Lucius now. And we've had a whole bunch of teaser bits and sonic weapons from the Noise Marines. Based on the other three Daisy Legions, the things that seem the most likely are some sort of raised cultists similar to Jackals or Poxwalkers. Some unique Terminators, though the World Eaters didn't get those, getting their 8-bound instead. Potentially some other elite infantry, maybe possessed, or other specialists of some sort or another to go alongside Noise Marines. Almost certainly some generic characters, I'd say at least one, maybe more. Potentially a standard lord or maybe some sort of supporting character, and then hopefully perhaps something like Sonic Dreadnoughts or Slanesh Demon Engine of some description. In general though, Games Workshop really don't seem to have been doing all that many big vehicle kit style releases recently, and tended to be focusing on either the big centerpiece kits or elite infantry. We haven't had any unique Hellbrute variants for any of the Traitor Legions, and only the Death Guard have really got unique Demon Engines so far, unless Thousand Sons wind up getting some automata. In any case, certainly looking forward to seeing those reveals. Going to be cool to see a new faction for 40k more properly unveiled, even if we had seen the man himself. It'd be good to see the Noise Marines with all the bits put together, with all their fun sonic weapons and the bits that they've shown off previously. Otherwise though, we had a bunch of other silhouette teasers, and the first one was, interestingly enough, a big Stompy Robot, which just from the look of it to start with, I did think was most likely a siege automata. Though I was definitely taking a second look at it to try and work out whether it could be more like an Imperial Knight or Chaos Knight, but unfortunately that really doesn't seem to be the case. Imperial Knights are supposed to be the codex that's coming after Eldari, so it's definitely not impossible we might sort of see a new model reveal coming soon for them. But it looks like that's not to be this time around, or at least not with this model silhouette teaser. I guess it's still possible they could show something off for them in the reveal show though. Instead it seems that what this guy is a Thanatar Calyx miniature. So basically a Horus Heresy miniature, and it does look like it's pretty much an absolute one-to-one recreation of it. It's got the bolters on one hand with the big ammo feed, the big cannon on the top left, and the sort of fist weapon on the left. You can even see from the bits around the edges of the silhouette, they just pretty much match with this model 1-to-1. It does just seem like it's literally the same thing, but moving from resin to plastic, as a bunch of the other Horus Heresy miniatures have done. I'm sure given the fact that Horus Heresy wasn't mentioned, there might be 40k players getting excited that this could be an automata style model for 40k for AdMech, though I really don't think it is, unfortunately. It just seems like the next thing that'll be most likely to come out for the Mechanicum, or at least one of them. People definitely noticed that though, the disparity between their reveal teaser showing off a Horus Heresy model but not saying that they were going to have Horus Heresy at the preview. I did notice that on their socials the Warhammer 40k page had responded saying that it could be a teaser for something else further down the line. Who knows, you better keep your eyes peeled. In any case, maybe it seems like a bit of a weird choice if so, to show it off in the reveal teaser. The video was clearly talking about the reveal show and focusing on that. They definitely didn't say that these are just some other things that are coming in 2025, so I would still guess that most of the models that were shown off will actually come at the reveal show. My guess is they've just had to change their schedule on some points but had already made the video. So either they've decided to include the miniature in the preview but just not list the Horus Heresy tagline in it because they hadn't decided that till later, or that this model was originally planned to be in that reveal show but they decided to move the schedule around and save the reveal for another time. It could just literally be as simple as this is going to be one that drops on one of their Horus Heresy Thursdays, and that could mean that we either see it before or after the reveal show but not necessarily at it. Either way though, it's not exactly the biggest mystery in the world. We do know exactly what it is. I guess maybe the bigger question is whether or not it'll come out alongside a second wave for the Horus Heresy Mechanicum. There's still a bunch of other things they didn't redo in that first wave of them. I want to say things like Myrmidons and a few other bits. They do seem to be trying to move as much of the resin range to plastic as possible. Otherwise, it's interesting to see Necromunda build at the trailer. They've been keeping the Forge World character and preview things coming really quite thick and fast on their Monday reveals. Loads of fun stuff with a lot of character and detail to them, and they've generally been pretty well received for the most part. Out of the silhouette teasers that we got this time around, it looks like this bug thing is going to be for Necromunda. Could be something nasty that's crawled out of the ash waste, but given how many interesting dark corners of 40k lore Necromunda often digs up, it could be some other manner of Xenos nastiness. Finally, that leaves us with two more silhouette previews. This one appears to be a Beastman Shaman from the old world. You can see it's mounted on a square base, which is a bit of a giveaway that it's for that as opposed to anything from Age of Sigmar. Looks like he's got a great big staff, I think with some sort of skull mounted on it maybe, plus a few feathers and things. Finally, for Age of Sigmar, there's something death related on the way. This one's probably for Soulblight Grave Lords, maybe a vampire or a horse or Black Knight potentially. It's got a great big winged helm on him with a couple of holes on it, and the horse is clearly a skeleton horse with far less neck muscle that you might be able to see on the model on the left, plus a whole load of tattered fabric hanging off it. They did mention Age of Sigmar first on the reveal things in the video, so that makes me wonder whether or not they might have a fair bit of stuff coming for them. Finally, just for their normal Monday reveal articles, there was a new model for Bretonnia for the old world as well. They're keeping going with their old world sculpts for various different factions here. It looks like this time it's a new Bretonnian model. Apparently Sir Cecil Gaston, the Wormslayer of Bretonnia, with a nice styled dragon helm, and fighting with a great big axe and shield. I do think it's fun they're just gradually releasing other fun creative things to fill in with the factions, when the main thrust of the release has usually been them returning their previous plastic and resin kits to that range. In any case though, should be a good one. Games Workshop's certainly been giving us loads of teasers of the Emperor's Children so far, so it's going to be good to see their range come out more properly. Plus anything else that we happen to see at the same reveal show. I'm wondering what they might give us in terms of Imperial or Chaos Knights, if anything. Though I feel like basically the main unveiling of a new faction to 40k is probably going to be enough for them for any one show. In any case though, let me know your thoughts as to the upcoming reveals, the new Death Guard mini, and any other fun details that you noticed about the silhouettes down in the comments below. As mentioned, a big thank you to Warhaus in Australia for sponsoring this one. Feel free to check them out for their big Games Workshop discounts linked down in the video description, and that Death Core Krieg giveaway that they're running as well. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more like this. I'll certainly keep the regular 40k videos coming, with new ones out just about every day. I'll be looking forward to covering the reveals once we get them. Feel free to check out the channel's Patreon page linked down in the video description if you'd like to help support. Thank you for everyone who is. But otherwise, an absolutely massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.